Hello, everybody. I'm Ulrich from a small stock noted and tech tax noted ICT company, mainly located in Hamburg and Cologne. And my team, coming mainly from Aachen, so there's maybe some relation you will find in what I will show. So I must learn Windows now. I have four major things in what I will talk about. Why is renewable energy generation of interest? We have heard a lot of in the former talks. If we start thinking about the 2020 climate change mitigation of the EU. And one thing which is we think is of interest in this talk I will present is the question how can I increase the part of renewable energy really used to substitute climatic influencing coal and so on, energy generation. So, and I will take a short look to ICT constraints, and because the headline is future internet, so I have the impression that future internet technology, whatever it is, maybe we can learn it on this conference, is a type of enabler to going in direction, making from bits better energy efficiency, we have already heard. And I will talk a little bit about the trial science and then close the loop to the things we have heard already. I learned which knob it is. We're starting with the 2020 goals, and in Germany we have already heard this leads to the question which is called Energiewende, which gives some additional driving in terms of building new infrastructure and to think about how you can manage energy systems in a new way. So what we have learned in this discussion is we have to think in electrical energy, because first of all, what we can manage easily is electrical energy. So for us, this renewable energy things and has three major aspects. We found that's of real interest if you're thinking about which type of technology will help to change the things. One is renewable energy generation. There's a lot of distributed volatile renewable energy in Germany. As example, I think we have in total 30,000 windmills in operation about, and more than 1 million of photovoltaic plants. If you're only looking to Germany, so we can substitute more or less 100% of the power if you're talking about installed power in renewable energy installation, but we make a use which is in total energy consumption of Germany less than 5%, I think, at the moment. So the second thing is demand response, because at the end, if you start in a new scenario in renewable energy, you have at the end to do something if you miss enough renewable energy in substitution of conventional energy. But one of our goals is to increase the part we use in renewable energies. So we have thought a lot about this. And at the end, we think about demand-side management. We have in the talk from Hannah a lot of things where they try to get rid of the problems on the demand side in terms of production. So in distributed generation, we have a strong impression that we have a couple of different things to keep in mind. If you're thinking about distributed energy generation, we will also find distributed data collection that leads to problems with the communication, and if you will make also management of your production or generation sites to come to a stable scenario in terms of communication, or at the end in a scenario where you can combine things like automation on one hand and autonomous operation in a fail-safe state if you lose your communication or part of your system, communication systems. Because electrical energy in this part of Europe has typically 100% availability, and you will not influence this. The second thing is you can learn in electrical energy production a lot in historical data. But if you think about distributed data collection and historical data, you get a huge amount of data at the end of the day. Anto had already mentioned that it will increase to over a year to in the terabyte regime, which sounds in the first step not so much, but if you will combine it over many years and more than one country in Europe, you have at the end a typical data problem. And at the end, all this data must be run in prediction, which means you have to also distribute your computing power, that you come in a situation that it will be possible to get at least a day-ahead approach to energy management. For me, we found the second thing which has something to do with a special situation in Germany. A special situation in Germany has to do with security on data and energy management. In Germany, the government's rules are as high in income criteria as typically more in military applications, and we have found a special term for it, trust cloud approach for handling big data in a common criteria fulfilling secure environment. And especially in energy, it must over, starting from the metering and over the whole chain in energy production down to steering, network stations, and so on. The next thing, which is of rather interest, is communication. And we have, in the questionnaire, we found some discussion how to come on the data. And can I rely on traditional internet technology, which will be used by customers and so on. And also, can I harden and make it in a robust scenario that it will be not attacked from people which has used my name to influence the security of internet or network or computer applications. If I combine big data communication, prediction, and so on, trustful cloud computing, I like the term to say that's what we have to understand under the internet. Because internet is for me not only a communication, it's application, but it's also something to do with distribution of processing and storage of data. And if I think about this, I have the feeling, and that's one of the driving terms, that internet is the enabling technology for the energy vendor. Standing here also for the 2020 goals for mitigation in Europe. That's the reason why we think about internet. And continuing what already mentioned in network topology, we have made some thoughts about how will this reverse of the classical energy production, which is in traditional days already shown in the first talk today, in a hierarchical fashion. We have a strong feeling if you integrate more and more volatile distributed energy production systems, you will reverse this classical scenario, but you get also a lot of things here shown in the outer shells where you must get rid of in combination of systems, and you get a coupling of systems which leads also to new algorithm in prediction, in learning about the residual load, and at the end in finding models which will geographical distribution and time influence to a new type of correlation model. In combining this thing, we have in Finesce defined a large-scale field trial. Finesce is one of the projects, and more or less all of the former talks have covered different aspects than the Finesce. And as FI-PPP project, I think I will give some insights to what we are doing in this type of project. First, it has many complex parts, and you have heard a lot. I don't know how to show it with this. About ESB things which Ian Research is doing in Malmö, Horsens, and things like that. We are covered with our field trial work package, making a B2B eco-energy system, and you will hear in a moment what it is. We are covered in the center of this map. And we have trial objectives, and which has a lot to do with internet technology. The first thing is if you manage energy system, you are in a real-time environment, because electrical energy is not so easy to store, at least in large portions. There are missing solutions. That means if you go with your ICT solution to it, you have to investigate how to manage the real-time issues which come also in a distributed, large-scale distributed system. From the security reasons and also from some government roles, you have to make something which we call end-to-end data management, which ensures that every party is a real owner of his data, and maybe it's not really a feature to manage the system, but to do it in a legal environment, and Europe is a legal environment, you have to fulfill it. Security of critical infrastructures, energy systems, we rely on in our economy, so we have to think about in terms of critical infrastructure. And we have a lot of things to do in production schedule aggregation. We have heard something from in the former talk and on the production side of things. And in these terms, that's also to do with energy production and energy generation. And to ensure that your production makes 100% green energy in your production scenario, you have to do something in demand-side response, so that you can go back and steer the production process. And at the end, we think that is something which has the combination of production things on one things, and the steering back from the energy which is available. To do this, and that's the part which we are mainly covered on as QSC on the production or generation side. We have combined 3 types of renewable energy. That's wind, and especially in Germany. It's solar and biomass, in our case in Belgium. And we have integrated this demonstration factory we have already heard of. And we have to integrate something with the 2 TSOs in this, the transport system operator, because at the end it must be integrated in the management of the whole overall electrical energy scenario. So our motivation was to combine renewable energy production with the demand side element and management into a little utility, means little power plants and production sites together, combine different volatile energies to guarantee CO2-free certified energy. So let's think about CO2-free brewed beer or street scooters that will be built without CO2 involved. One objective we will fulfill was increase the part of renewable energy in real use, and we have integrated a lot of different renewable energy source sites. In total, if you're talking about generators, more than 10, and this fabric, this production plant. And here I've thought we're doing it also in Belgium and in the western part of Germany, but these sites, the yellow ones are photovoltaic, the green ones are biogas, and in Belgium there's not so much wind in the moment. We have in the moment integrated one wind site. There are also more maps, but I think in the moment it shows that it's distributed over the area, in this case over the area of Belgium, and that you have to fulfill something, to give, some people like pictures, to give you a feeling. That's the windmills we integrate, and to give you a feeling about biogas. That's a 1.2 megawatt electrical generator, which are shown here, and this biogas plant in Tongeren can drive 2 of these machines. It means you have 2.5 megawatt installed, 364 days per year electrical power. And to give you a feeling, a typical soft coal power plant, you need 1,500 of this installation to substitute one of this plant. And in this case, the area 50 kilometers around Tongeren that will comes to the near of Brussels is be used to get the corn from it. So you have also some problems to find the energy really to substitute 100% of what we are producing in energy. And at the end, it integrates this factory and in the production process, the street scooter. And in our case, it's not part of the Finesce project. It's another part what we do together with RWTH and others. We integrate also the street scooter as source of moving electrical storage and integrated in charge management and so on. So we have 2 things on it. We have heard a lot of this factory setup, so I came to the end. We have built a model to show software. Sometimes it's not so easy to get hand on it, so we have built a model, and you will find the model in the exhibition. So, and at this point, it's to say for me, thanks and good luck.